Hello everyone, just Gordon here and welcome to Season 2 of Building the Beekse Bergen. Season 2 basically has three main objectives. Number 1, update the zoo to its current state. As the real life zoo was undergoing some major changes while I was still building it in Season 1, I decided to kind of freeze time in my recreation and just recreate the zoo as it was before those changes were made. So that got finished in Season 1, so now in Season 2 it is time to update the zoo to its current state. So that includes a ton of small changes as well as the new black rhino area, which we'll hopefully see pretty soon. Number 2 is to fix up some old areas. Now I've been working on this zoo for about 2 years, and in that time the game has received a ton of updates and my skill at the game has improved a ton as well. Both of these things mean that I can finally do these areas that I built all the way at the start of the project a lot more justice than I did them before. So we will be fixing up some of the worst offenders in this season as well. And number 3, finish up everything that I left unfinished last season, and this mainly includes the car safari, the safari resort, and some backstage areas, most of which are also connected to the car safari as well. I don't think I'll be making all of these things as detailed as some of the other areas in my zoo, but I mean, I've said that before and usually those things still end up being the most detailed things ever, so who knows, it all depends on what I feel like and how much reference I find, but we'll see that all when we get to it. So now, without any further ado, why is this path orange, you might ask? Well, I've already been playing around with the latest 2 updates, because, you know, both of these updates I've really not had a chance to build with in this zoo yet. I came up with this really cool plan to turn the entire entrance area into one big path. Basically, showing right now it's like all these little paths, and I should actually show you what it looks like without the orange path. If we just go back to the natural path over here. So what you can see is that we have all of these little wooden path things, right? I've already hidden a lot of them using all of these rocks, but some of them still remain, and these rocks, they don't look very pretty. So yeah, I want to see if I can turn this into one big path so you have pretty much none of those little curb wooden thingies sticking out, and we'll just use barriers to prevent people from, you know, walking through fences and walls and things like that. So yeah, I'm probably gonna regret this, but I'm gonna give it a try. The only thing I'm gonna have to figure out is what I'm gonna do with the entrances, because they are one of the main causes of the of there being so many of those wooden things. It's because we have the entrance gates over here, so those are gonna have to go somewhere else. Okay, so I thought before I put in all of that pathing, let's actually do a little bit of experimenting first. So here we are experimenting with the entrances, and here's an interesting little setup. It's not gonna help me just yet, but we've got a hidden entrance over here, and it looks like people are actually able to use that. These people over here are in the zoo. You can actually see, like, the moment they go over the entrance, they go from arriving to wandering. There, you saw it just now. So this is actually really useful. I'm probably gonna make a Planet Zoo quick tricks tutorial out of it maybe. But yeah, it doesn't really help me just yet because there still isn't a way to get rid of all of those nubs over here. So I'm going to do a little bit more experimenting to see if I can find something that works better for me. But this is a really good start, I would say. Alright, so here we go for the first test. We've got people walking into the guest services building, up to the desk, and they move on. Okay, so things are definitely happening to the entrance. First of all, over here we added this little rope fence thingy that there should be. It's always hard to make this stuff interesting. It's like, yeah, I added this thing that should be there, but I also added these little paintings. I actually took these from the education center building over here. I just took those paintings and stuck them on there. We actually need to remove some of these paintings from this building now that we are in the post-corona era of the zoo, as I like to call it. but we'll do that at another time. Let's go back to the entrance and see what we got over here. So I still need to make some of these signs. I've got the service sign over there, but these signs I don't have reference photos of, which I'm really kind of feel stupid about. I think this one I do. It's the parking ticket sign, but this one about taking a stroller I don't have a picture of. And with how detailed I'm making these signs now, I kind of do want that picture. So I'll have to see if I can find something for that. But moving on to other things, it looks like we've got some Z-filing over there. I'm going to fix that in a bit. We've got the Zawadi gift shop over here, and you can see I've been using some of the decals. I'm kind of upset that we don't have these corner decals for the painted brick as well. Because these corner decals are super useful, especially for small bits like this, because yeah, this is just a corner piece. That allows you to get these tiny things in, which is really, really nice if that's what you want. But yeah, this building has gotten a little bit of a makeover, not a huge one. Oh, it also looks like I got some things sticking out over here, just ignore that. But yeah, these used to be round pillars, because back when I built this building we didn't have any small square pillars like these, but of course now with the Africa pack we had tons of those things. I've improved at the game to such a degree that I've now been able to make functional windows over here. These used to be just your average window pieces. So yeah, huge improvement over there as well. I added the barrels from the Euro pack and the tires that we got in the North America pack, I think. They were in the free update, but I think they came with that update. So yeah, just tons of the things. The new branch pieces giving us these little painted ends. I just noticed that those ends were painted and I'm like, oh my god, we have a piece for that now. So yeah, that was super, super cool. On the inside as well, I've added a few more gift shop items. It's still not as good as I want it to be, but I also don't want to redo the entire interior here. So it's kind of, I'm not happy with it, but I can call it good enough, and I don't know which side of the coin I'm gonna fall on. But yeah, here at the coffee shop, of course, now we've finally been able to put in a counter, and that came in a previous update. And yeah, that's just amazing that it's actually functional now. And I modded the game a little bit. I changed the colors of the vendors by taking the texture and just opening it in paint.net, just switching the colors up a little bit and just putting it back in the game, and there you go. Now they're wearing the correct color of shirts, and that is just absolutely incredible. But yeah, over here we have a little seating area. I used to have just your regular picnic benches over here. Wasn't a big fan of that. People weren't really using them anyway, so I thought let's just make it fully custom with these nice colorful tables, chairs. Updated these palms and planters by using the date palm, I think. Yeah, upside down to create the trunk, and then have a little bit smaller of a end on that, because yeah, if we were to use the actual date palm, it's just a little too big, you know. So yeah, this is definitely an improvement on that. I realized these lamps are supposed to be hanging down a lot more, and I think I can actually do that with this little custom lamp that I made over here on the new cable piece. So I might actually put those in here as well. We actually have the hanging lamps like there should be. But yeah, we got these new planters. Those are pretty freaking cool. Made up out of all sorts of pieces. The new recolorable trims and limestone pieces, just to make it look a lot more weathered. These things are supposed to be like really rusty and things like that, but I couldn't really get that across. Sadly, it was too small to put on like the grunge decal pieces. It just sticks out a little bit, and I wasn't a fan of what that looked like. So yeah, just gonna keep it like this. I'm pretty happy with it, especially this side. It just has all these nice details on it, and yeah, nice fitting plant. We got some trees that are like being planted, and over here, this is where it used to be dierenlandje. If you watched the tutorial, or the tutorial, what the tour, you might remember what dierenlandje was. It was that little store snack bar. I think they sold fries and stuff there before it burnt down on the inside. But yeah, that was just an unused building that was there for a very long time and now has been removed. So you can see they just like within these plans have only just been applied basically. So that's why they're still very small. And also we got the new map. You may have seen on stream. You may have seen me starting the making of this map, and I just finished it off camera the day after I did that stream, and it looks really freaking good. I still have to add the directional signage, which is kind of a thing. I'm not sure how we're gonna do that, because the new signs that they have for these things don't really have this arrow part. The old ones did, and this sign was kind of perfect for it. But yeah, the new signs don't have that little arrow bit, and we don't have any sign that can kind of function as the new sign. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that yet. Oh my god, they fixed the lamp. Here you go, lamp. Good job. Alright, so I was just in the process of making these little directional signs, and I figure, you know, it's fine that we do have the arrow thing, even though the real life ones don't anymore. It works well enough just changing the colors. But then I realized something about the new signs. If we have a look at this picture over here, we can see the way that they dealt with directions on these signs is no longer with the sign itself. There is just this little arrow on the sign that's telling you where to go. So even though all the signs are pointing left for Speelland, you have to go to the right. For the guest service, you have to go left. For the parking payment place, you have to go to the front. Yeah, that does not work with the way that I made these, and that's gonna be confusing. So I'm gonna have to think of a way to solve that. That's kind of sucky. All right, so finishing off the episode, let's look at everything we ended up doing. So I ended up fixing up the directional signage, so those are now completely accurate, and I'm not even gonna go into how much effort it was to make these. Like, they're double printed, so each sign has its own like little text. Yeah, I just hid the arrow thing inside of some ceramic tiles and a ton of font pieces, and that is how that functions. And it's just that is not a fun piece to hide. It's like asymmetric. There's like diagonal sides to it. Not even the arrow bit, but like the sign itself isn't straight. It was a nightmare, but it looks really, really good, and I'm glad I did it. Fun thing is that I should mention about it. The parking lot is actually the only place where there are signs like pointing up and left and whatnot. In the zoo itself, all the signs are actually just pointing in the direction the sign is pointing. So thanks, parking lot, for making life miserable. But yeah, let's move back here and walk up to the entrance of the zoo, where we will see something very, very cool. You may have seen it if you. It was probably like a blink and you'll miss it moment. But in the intro of today's episode, I'm definitely gonna put this thing. Yeah, we have the actual white elephant statue. So yeah, I got in touch with Drac. You might know Drac from making like all the little birds, and he makes all sorts of statues for other people's zoos as well. So I hit him up and I was like, hey, you think you can do the elephant of Beekse Bergen? And he was like, yeah, sure, man. Just give me a moment. And yeah, sometime later he came with a bit. It wasn't completely accurate. It was a little bit too bulky, so I ended up altering it myself. But he had been a huge help in making this thing a reality. And if it weren't for Drac making all the other statues and amazing things, it would never have even occurred to me to make the entire statue out of art shapes like this. It's actually a combination. Like, you've got art shapes. The ears are made out of font pieces. the eyes are made out of the new LED tube end caps, which is an amazing piece, which we definitely will see more often. I ended up putting the ceiling fan bases in the feet, which have a nice little like round part, and then we have the Australian rod pieces for like the trunk and the tusks and stuff like that. So it's a combination of all sorts of pieces coming together to make an awesome looking statue over here. So yeah, that is just freaking amazing. Moving along that, we can see something really cool as well. I actually redid all of these little ticket booths over here. So these ticket booths don't normally get used that much. It is only now during COVID that they have started using them to, like, you know, get a little bit better guest flow. But before COVID, I actually never really saw them used. But yeah, this is what they used to look like. And this is the upgrade. So I made them a lot smaller. And the reason I made them smaller is because I realized... Well, I realized they were too big, but the reason I realized they were too big is because I started making these little fences out of the new cable pieces and the new hinge pieces, which, yeah, was made me able to make these fences a lot more accurately. But I ran out of room for them, and I was like, I think these ticket booths just need to be a lot smaller, so I have some room for these fences. So yeah, I made that. It all looks really great. Ended up putting a lot more detail into it as well. It does kind of create an even bigger discrepancy between like these ticket booths and the guest services building, but I don't think I'm going to be redoing the guest services building, at least not anytime soon. I'm fine with the way things are right now. But yeah, I also redid the turnstiles. So yeah. Awesome stuff, awesome stuff. Let's keep going, I guess. So the guest service building we all saw has been updated a little bit. I actually finally know the kind of shape that it realistically needs to have, but I don't think I'm gonna alter it anymore. I think it's fine to leave things the way they are. So yeah, these signs are now in place. I managed to take some reference photos of them after all. I was at the zoo earlier this week. So that is all done up. I added some more decal pieces on the Barabao building, in particular this big crack over here. Oh yeah, and I mentioned earlier in this video, these lights, I ended up putting them in as well. I added the African plates, North African plates, whatever they're called, decorative plates, to them as well to make them a little bit bigger and detailed. And I think that looks super great, so super happy with that. More directional signs, of course, and let's just move over here real quick because there's a little food court where some new things have popped up. I put a hot dog squad. There is no fry, like Monsieur Fried is the in-game brand vendor for the counters yet, so I couldn't put that in. Oh, looks like I should actually extend the counter a little bit over there. But yeah, got a little fry stand where you can get your snacks, and there's also a souvenir shop which is just kind of closed down. And over here as well there's a drink shop, because this is during the summer event. They set up a little bar here. It's actually currently been repainted already for the winter event that is currently... I don't think it's still going on. I mean, it kind of... the fun got spoiled a little bit when the zoo had to close due to COVID again. But yeah, that is there, and I'm pretty happy with it. So, last but not least for today is we're going to take a look at the Vriendenkraal, which of course is the building for the Wildlife Foundation, which raises money for all, like, tons of different non-profit organizations helping animals in the wild. The Wildlife Foundation raises money for like pretty much anything you can think of. So yeah, got this little bench, got the little money rolling thing. Just more detailed now using font pieces and the new hinge pieces and whatnot. But let's go inside. I didn't go all in with this interior, I have to admit. I just gave it a little makeover compared to what we used to have, because it was pretty freaking bad. But yeah, we now have using font pieces, this awesome little like logo on the window. Pretty difficult to do it that way because, you know, you can't, normally when you're building with font pieces, you like sink things into walls to hide stuff, but you can't do that with a window because, you know, it's transparent. So yeah, kind of had to think of how to do that, but I think it all worked out in the end. And as we go inside, we have just a bunch of things. Like there's a little buckets of poop that you can buy. Elephant poop to be exact. It's like 5 euros for a bucket. You can use it as fertilizer, or I don't know what else you want to buy elephant poop for, as a prank maybe. But yeah, on the inside here we have my attempt at an African wild dog skeleton. It's not great, but you know, it looks good enough. Could also be modern art, I don't know. We have some paw prints, or some paws of several animals. I think it's a lion, cheetah, African wild dog, or maybe the other way around, but I think, no, wait, this is definitely the longer name of the bunch, so that's probably the African wild dog. So yeah, got those there. This is supposed to be a cheetah painting. I didn't feel like making a painting that size, or using billboards. Same thing over here, like there's supposed to be a bunch of vultures and stuff, but wasn't really feeling it. What we do have is the kind of main donation bin over here. I just realized I should put like a bucket over here for the here. There's a bucket here where you can hand in your phone, so that they can recycle it. But yeah, I missed that. Over here we got, so this is supposed to be, oh, it's even sticking out the top a little bit still. This is supposed to be like a taxidermy juvenile chimp. And I used one of Keyboard Keeper's plushies, shrunk it down a little bit, at least I attempted to. It kind of just looks like they locked up a plushie. But it is a taxidermy thing, which is pretty cool. There's a bunch of taxidermy around here. Like, here's another 2. I didn't actually put anything inside of these because I didn't think I'd be able to. There's like a juvenile lion and a juvenile tiger in here. What we do have is also using the plushie, but then I used the rope coil pieces to make it look a little bit more realistic. We've got a I keep saying pachydermy instead of taxidermy. It's a completely different word. We've got a taxidermy, a lion head and a lion tail, where you can kind of touch the manes. At the moment you're not allowed to touch anything because, you know, pandemic and stuff. But we also have a giraffe skeleton, so you can see like, oh look, it has the same amount of bones in its neck as we do. And there's also a rhino head as well as a rhino skull. This one's not actually real. It's not a real rhino head, but you know, it gives an awesome impression. Like, yeah, that's one big boy. And then the only thing that's still kind of missing here is the taxidermy tiger. Still using the jaguar statue because, yeah, we don't really have anything better than that. What I am pretty proud of though is over here I made a taxidermy dick, which I think ended up looking pretty good. What I'm also really happy with is this. This is just a bit of elephant skin, a framed bit of elephant skin basically, and I think I got the look across using well, I call everything new this episode. For me, everything is still new. All the way back to the Africa pack, everything's new. But yeah, the now made Flexicolor trim pieces have a lovely little texture that kind of brings across that elephant skin feel. But yeah, other upgrades in here include, like, I redid all the cabinets. I want to do the ceiling and stuff the way it's supposed to be, but sadly I can't raise the ceiling, because then we get to see all the things from the thatch roofs. So, too bad, but we can't do that. So yeah, that is the Vriendenkraal, the home of the Wildlife Foundation. I'm just gonna leave that alone. I just want to look at, like, look at that little dick in the window. That's really cool. So yeah, the interior isn't the most detailed it could have been, but it's nice. I am gonna add the poster there. That's still missing, I guess. Yeah, I think that's all. I repainted Calamero over here because they finally made these limestone statues, or I think they're limestone. They finally made these statues Flexicolor, so I could give him the proper color. And that is it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed the start of Season 2. We've been a little bit all over the place, well, all over the place in one area. Next episode is going to be a little bit more structured, but I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out. Bye-bye.